Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Mr. here. Today I'm back with the discussion video I've promised for about a few months now. It's Accel versus Accel 2, and the reason why I had to do this now instead of later, because there's a lot of debate on the card of the Eradicator Zuitan card, the one from the new set, which I honestly think is a very stupid discussion and it should be stopped because it's really quite clear what the strengths of the card are, but people are still arguing about whether it should fit into budget decks and whatnot. Now, I've tested every build of Narukami, including Gauntlet Buster, Detonix Drill, Thunder Break, Vermilion. So I'll be using the context of Narukami as well as my previous experience with Gold Paladin to discuss between Accel and Accel 2. Of course, there are other Accel clans you all should already know, like what are the other Accel clans? Name other Accel clans. Go. Nova Grappler, Aqua Force, one more. Great Nature, the world champion. Okay, Great Nature. Yeah, they got deck. They won the World Championship, boy. Okay. So, yeah, so those are the other Accel clans, so just for you all to take note. This will be on general deck guidelines as well as situations for different gifts. So, it's not a hard and fast rule, but I believe this discussion should help, especially in the context of, say, Narukami, which is what I'm more tailoring it towards. But other than that, you all can just use your common sense. If you've played your deck for at least 2 games, you know how to apply what I'm saying for this video. So, first up is Accel 1. Accel 1 is the original gift of Accel. The circle is a pump 10k, so if, like, say for example, if I have, say, a Dread Charge Dragon here, he's going to gain plus 10 as long as he sits on the circle. But if he is to retire, he loses the 10k, but the 10k stays with the circle, not with the card. That's the only thing it does. So Accel 1 helps for higher number, because Accel 2, the ability is when placed. When I mean when placed, I mean when activated. So let's say I ride a Great Tree, I gain the gift. And when you gain the gift, then you get to draw a card. The circle is substantially weaker because, as mentioned before, Accel 1 gives you 10k, whereas Accel 2 gives you 5k and an additional draw. And it's quite shaky. I'm doing this in school. So those are the different Accel gifts we have. Now, here comes the big thing. Personally, I prefer Accel 2. I believe Accel 2 in the new season format of Cardfight Vanguard Dimension. Is it called Dimension now? The new anime series, it's called Dimension, right? Yeah. What the hell is a Dimension? Okay, so for Dimension, they've introduced all the 2 gifts. One, Protect 2, Accel 2, Force 2. I believe Accel 2 will solve and has solved all the problems of Accel 1. A lot of players call Accel shitty Accel clans, that is the internet dub, because of the fact that Accel, yeah, it had spots and that was it. It had no way to draw its key pieces and it just died. If you didn't draw the right cards or if your opponent gets a damage trigger, goodbye, you're cucked. This is the problem I face for literally every Accel deck because everybody shared the same weakness. However, Accel 2 is a lot different. It gives you the draw, and the draw is very important. The reason why Gamor was able to survive in a budget deck for a good 3 months in the meta before dying as everyone expected is because it could fill up its own circle, and that was something a lot of people needed. If you can fill up the circle, that does a lot. Accel had problems with resource management because they opened too many spots and had too many shoes to fill, literally, and therefore they were not able to be competitive enough and would lose against Force or Protect, especially Oracle Ting Ting, which should not be the case because if you do the actual calculation, Accel should beat Protect. So if Accel loses to Protect, it just shows your crap. But the point was that such scenarios were happening, and of course Murakumo was the first Accel clan to break ice in the meta, but that was because it had a really painful Great Lock ride restriction, and I think that was the only reason why the deck could float. Other than that, it really couldn't go very far. But with the addition of Accel 2, being able to fill the board, sure, it loses the 5k, but I want you to think about it in this way. Imagine that every time you ride a Great Tree, you draw a card, and you get an extra rearguard slot. The rearguard slot is not what I'm focusing on, it's the on-place draw. Not many cards have on-place draw, but you want to know what else has on-place draw? A starter. And you only get 1 starter in the game. A lot of people, even in Premium, now resort to using the V starters because they say that the on-place draw has simply way much value in a competitive early game. That's not wrong, I'm not going to disagree with them, but now think about replicating this effect in late game. Just think about it. It's actually a lot more devastating, and you have a higher chance of filling the board. Even worse is if you're playing a deck like Gold Paladin or Aqua Force. Filling up the board means more attacks for you, and you can devastate your opponent and finish them off faster. Sure, you will lose the 5k power, which is what I think a lot of prominent Vanguard YouTubers were able to point out when it was first released, and I thoroughly agree, you do lose power. However, the thing that I have to highlight to everybody is there's no point in losing power if you had nothing to attack with in the first place. So honestly, Accel decks have very good cards, and that is a sweeping statement that I will stand by for the rest of my life. Most cards in Accel decks are really, really devastating. The only problem is how often do you draw them, how often do you use them, and that's the problem. But now if you could draw into them and they could settle their own problem, then you technically have a more efficient way to win. Now, for deck, that's just my personal view that I've been holding back for the past 2 months. Now, for deck building, how do you build a deck? Sorry, there are idiots standing at the window. Shangi, be careful, Shangi. There are idiots at the window. Just ignore them. They are harmless creatures. Alright, carrying on. So, how do you build a deck around it? We'll start with Accel 1, since that's what people are most comfortable with. If you are building a deck with Accel 1, I'd like you to keep in mind that you already have substantial amounts of power. Now you have to settle everything else, the weaknesses of Accel 1. You're going to need, firstly, card draw. You definitely need card draw because those circles aren't filling themselves. You are definitely going to need, well, defense, because you won't be able to draw into many defensive pieces to help you out. Sure, Accel is an aggressive clan, but you will need to defend yourself at one point or another. So have some ways to have active card draw and board fills. By board fills, I mean something like Gold Paladin, where they can call out more units. But if you don't happen to play that kind of thing, think of Murakumo, where they have Zanbaku to fill up one of the arresters, and then both arresters will trigger and then yeet Gridlock. That kind of thing is really helpful for Accel because you will need to fill up your own boards yourself. Secondly, for Accel 2, I believe Accel 2 is the easier gift to build around. Accel 2 solves the problem of drawing and of defensive management, because every turn draw by placing a Great Tree is seriously powerful, and I will not stop emphasizing on that. The only downside is, of course, the power gaining, which then your deck needs to be tailored to gain power by itself. So in the case of my Narukami, which I will be showing off in a future deck profile, I've tagged in Dread Charge Dragon, Dragonic Death Scythe, Gaiban, oops, Gaiban's a new card, and Rai. No, this is not Rai. Regina, just to name a few. Now, what do all these cards have in common is that they gain power by themselves. Regina pumps 5k to 3 rear guards. Gaiban gives a rear guard 3k after the Vanguard attacks. And then Sentinel Restrict. Death Scythe starts off as an early +8 beater, so he starts off at 9 +18 for a turn, but later on just drops, but he still gains 5 by himself. Dread Charge is a runtime trait. By Soul Blasting 1 card, he gains 15,000 power, but will die at the end of the turn. Now, all these 4 cards I've mentioned for our case study is on purpose. All 4 can gain power by themselves. Because of that, Accel 2 becomes effective because you can fill the board and the troops are not weak. So even if per se your opponent does get a damage trigger, for instance back to Dead Touch Dragon, your opponent still needs to block it. Even better if you're playing a Accel deck that can put multiple pressure. Of course, this is the time where I sell my favorite card, Detonic's Drill Dragon. Detonic's Drill Dragon's multiple attacks, although they are small attacks, are attacks that are still made. So you still need to block them. Or if you don't want to block them, you risk getting crit triggered and you risk dying. So when you build your deck, you need to be very sure of what your strengths and weaknesses of your decks are, even when choosing every card of your grade, and then choosing the selective Accel gift. Honestly, it's not about deck choice that changes your win or lose pattern. It's your gift. If you play Protect 2 in Coco, you are severely cutting down Coco's defensive potential but raising the offensive potential. Will it pay off? We're not sure. If you add Force 2 into a Force deck, you lose the long run benefits of having long-term power, but you are changing yourself into a much more dominant aggro deck. So for example, if you play Accel, if you play Force 2 in something like Kagero, you are looking to end your opponent with heavy swings. Of course, not in terms of power, but in terms of importance-wise. You have to block it or you're taking 2 damage. So that is my explanatory video for the two gifts. Now, back to Zuitan. Zuitan should be used in Accel 1 for the reasons I've mentioned earlier. Zuitan solves power gaining and draw, and that's it. Zuitan will fit highly well with the 10K of Accel 1. The reason why is because Zuitan has been proposed to tag into budget decks like stuff like Thunder Break. Now, Thunder Break kills rear guards by attacking the front row. Thunder Break doesn't bind, alright? So think about it in this way. At tops, you use Zuitan for one time. You gain 5k with Zuitan, then you put him into the soul, draw a card. And that's really bad. Zuitan really works with Gauntlet Buster, and his skill even works for Gauntlet Buster. So please put him where he belongs and know your gift choices properly, because really that grade 2 slot for your Zuitan could be used for so many better things. I'm not going to tell you what. It's your play choice, so you guys have to decide. But for everybody who keeps asking, why should Zuitan not be put? There are many reasons I support that would propose that Zuitan does not belong in stuff like Thunder Break, Vermilion, GCD, Detonix maybe, but you get the point. He belongs with Gauntlet Buster, so please keep it that way. But the bigger picture that I like to settle is, of course, Accel versus Accel 2. I like to give credits to the video for all those who have helped playtest against my various decks, as well as all those who had tolerated me and answered questions about the gifts. Thank you all so much for watching. I've not done explanatory video in forever, but if you'd like to see more on the gifts, because I have a lot to say, mainly say Force or Protect, please let me know in the comment section below. I will continue a series for gifts if this video is well liked. But that would end it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.